In recent times, the world has found itself standing on the precipice of a pivotal moment, a moment where every decision, every alliance and every shift in power could have profound implications for us all. It's in these times of uncertainty that we must remember the power of unity, the strength found in resilience, and the unshakable truth that history is written, not by the few but by the collective force of people who dare to stand for something greater than themselves. What we are witnessing today is not just a political movement, nor is it a mere shift in alliances. What is unfolding is a reflection of the underlying currents that define our world. Currents of power, ambition, and the pursuit of influence. And while the headlines may focus on names, on countries, on specific actions, it's crucial that we see the broader picture, a world where the balance of power is delicate, where one spark can ignite waves of change across continents. In moments like this, the weight of leadership is heavy. Decisions made today will shape the lives of millions tomorrow, and it is in these moments that we must rise, not only as individuals or nations, but as a global community bound by shared hopes, struggles and dreams for peace. The eyes of the world are on those in power, but the true power lies in the hands of those who believe in progress, who believe in the possibility of change, and who understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. We must ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to build? What will we do when the weight of history presses upon us? The path we choose today is not just a political choice, it is a moral one. It's about standing for justice, for diplomacy, for dialogue, and for the belief that we are capable of forging a future where conflict is not the answer. The alliances we form, whether they are personal or political, have the power to bring about change that resonates far beyond our immediate horizons. But in forging these alliances, we must never lose sight of the core values that bind us as human beings. We must seek peace, not power, understanding, not division, and above all, compassion in the face of adversity. There are times when the world feels divided, when it seems like the forces of chaos are too great to overcome. But it is in these very moments that the human spirit has always shown its true strength. It is when we face the greatest challenges that we find the courage to push forward, to reach for something better, to lift each other up. The power of change lies not just in those who hold office, but in the hearts and minds of each of us. It lies in the choices we make, in the conversations we have, and in the actions we take every day. When we stand together, united in our pursuit of a better world, we become unstoppable. Today, as we witness the unfolding of these global shifts, let it be a reminder that we are not passive observers of history. We are active participants, and together, we have the power to shape a future that is defined not by fear, but by hope, not by division, but by unity. So let us rise to the occasion. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world. And let us stand together, shoulder to shoulder, as we build a future where peace, justice, and understanding are the foundations of all we do. The time is now. The choice is ours. In times when the world feels uncertain, when political landscapes shift unexpectedly and global tensions rise, it's easy to feel small or powerless. We can become consumed by the weight of these challenges, unsure of where we fit into the larger picture. Yet, in these very moments of uncertainty, we must remember one simple, powerful truth. The collective strength of people united for a common cause has the power to create profound and lasting change. It's in these moments that history is not written by the actions of a few, but by the collective will of many who believe in the possibility of a better future. Every individual, no matter how small their voice may seem in the vastness of the world, plays a part in shaping the course of events. Think of the movements that have defined history. They were not born from the decisions of kings or presidents alone, but from the courageous actions of ordinary people standing up together for something greater than themselves. Whether it's fighting for freedom, justice, or the rights of the marginalized, the power of unity has proven time and again that it can overcome even the greatest of challenges. When people come together with a shared vision, when they join hands in solidarity, they create an unstoppable force, a force capable of toppling oppressive systems, breaking down barriers, and rewriting the narrative of what's possible. It is in these moments of unity that we see the true strength of resilience. We are reminded that while the road to change is often long and fraught with obstacles, it's in our shared perseverance that we find hope. When we stand together, even in the face of adversity, we become a beacon of possibility. Resilience isn't about ignoring the hardships we face. It's about facing them head-on, knowing that we are not alone. When we unite, our strength multiplies, and suddenly the impossible becomes possible. This lesson is more important today than ever. In a world that seems increasingly divided, where power struggles and political alliances shape the headlines, we must remember that the strength of a community is found not in isolation but in connection. We must believe that our collective efforts, no matter how small they seem in the grand scheme of things, add up to something far greater than the sum of their parts. Just as a single drop of water can contribute to an ocean, each of our actions, when united with others, has the power to make waves of change. In these times of shifting global power dynamics, it's crucial to recognize that true change doesn't come from a place of fear or division. It comes from a shared commitment to a greater good. When we face challenges as a united front, we transcend individual struggles and rise to a level of collective strength that can confront even the most complex issues. This unity isn't just about political alliances or agreements. It's about recognizing the humanity that binds us all together. It's about finding common ground, even in the most unlikely of places, and building from there. History is not just shaped by the powerful few, but by all of us who dare to dream of a better world. We each have a role to play in this unfolding story, whether through small acts of kindness, the courage to speak out against injustice, or the determination to stay resilient in the face of adversity. We contribute to the broader movement of progress. When we unite with others who share our values, we create a force capable of bringing about the change we all seek. The journey is never easy. There will be setbacks. There will be moments of doubt. But as long as we stay united, as long as we remember that we are stronger together, we will find the resilience to continue. For in the end, it is not the moments of triumph that define us, but the determination to keep moving forward, side by side, even when the path seems unclear. When we believe in the power of unity, we recognize that together, we can overcome any obstacle, heal any wound, and build a future where peace, justice, and hope are not just ideals, but a living reality. The collective will of the people, when harnessed and channeled with purpose, is a force that cannot be stopped. It is the key to a brighter, more connected world. The world today finds itself in the midst of profound shifts in alliances, in political influence, and in the very structure of global power. While the headlines may focus on specific countries or individuals, the deeper currents at play are far more complex, and they reveal much about the underlying forces that shape our world. These shifting alliances are not just political maneuvers or fleeting moments in history. They are reflections of deeper, more fundamental currents driven by ambition, the desire for influence, and the delicate balance of power that affects every nation, every community, and every individual across the globe. These forces are like the winds that push the tides of the ocean. They cannot be ignored, for they shape the course of history in ways both visible and invisible. At the heart of this global shift lies ambition, the relentless drive of nations, organizations, and individuals to carve out a place of influence and power on the world stage. It is this ambition that fuels the desire for alliances, for cooperation, but also for competition. Nations seek to position themselves strategically, to align with powerful partners, or to counterbalance perceived threats. In a world that is more interconnected than ever, the ambitions of one can ripple across the globe, affecting distant lands and distant people in ways that were once unimaginable. What happens in one corner of the world, whether it's a trade agreement, a military alliance, or a diplomatic shift, often has consequences far beyond the immediate scope of that event. It can spark a chain reaction, altering the course of international relations, economics, and even culture. Alongside ambition is the quest for influence. Influence is the currency of the modern world, and it's not just about military might or economic power. It's also about ideas, about shaping narratives, and about forging relationships that extend beyond borders. Nations and leaders understand that true power is not just measured by what they can control, but by what they can influence. Whether it's the spread of ideologies, the shaping of global policy, or the ability to sway public opinion, influence is the tool that allows one to leave an imprint on the world. The current alliances we witness today are often built not just on shared interests, but on the shared ability to influence the future. This influence, however, comes with responsibility. For when power is wielded, the impact is felt not just by the powerful, but by all who are caught in the web of that influence. Yet as we see these alliances form and reform, it's important to recognize the fragile nature of the global balance of power. In a world where borders are no longer defined by geography alone, where information moves at the speed of light and economies are intertwined, the balance of power is incredibly delicate. A single decision, a change in policy, or a new alliance can shift the entire landscape, leaving nations scrambling to adjust to new realities. This delicate balance is a reflection of the interconnectedness of the world. What happens in one place can have immediate and far-reaching effects. A nation's move towards one ally can force another to shift loyalties, or even to reconsider its place in the world. These shifting alliances also reflect the changing nature of conflict and cooperation in the modern world. While traditional power struggles often revolved around military strength or territorial control, today's conflicts are just as likely to be fought in the halls of diplomacy, on digital platforms, or in economic markets. The true battle is often not between nations directly, but between competing visions for the future, visions shaped by the pursuit of economic growth, technological dominance, and the control of global resources. And within this complex arena, alliances are not just strategic, but are constantly being tested, reshaped, and redefined. Alliances that seemed unbreakable yesterday may fracture tomorrow, while new partnerships emerge in unexpected places, driven by changing circumstances and emerging threats. In this ever-changing landscape, it's easy to become overwhelmed or discouraged. The sheer complexity of global dynamics can make it seem like we are powerless, like events are unfolding beyond our control. But it is in recognizing the deeper currents that we can find clarity. These currents, though complex, are not beyond our understanding. By paying attention to the forces of ambition and influence, and by understanding the delicate balance of power, we can begin to navigate this shifting landscape with greater awareness and purpose. As we witness these global shifts, it is crucial to remember that the balance of power is not something that can be controlled by a few. It is shaped by many. The forces that move the world forward are not abstract. They are driven by the choices of individuals, communities, and nations. These choices, whether they are decisions made in government offices, boardrooms, or on the streets, contribute to the global currents that define our future. In the end, the power of these currents lies not just in the actions of those in power, but in the collective response of the world's people. When we recognize our shared responsibility, when we understand the interconnectedness of our actions, we can begin to guide these currents toward a future of peace, prosperity, and mutual respect. The weight of leadership is a burden that few truly understand until they are called to bear it. In times of uncertainty and change, when the world is watching, the decisions made by leaders are not merely political or strategic. They are moral, carrying consequences that stretch far beyond their immediate time and place. These decisions have the power to shape the future, influencing not just the direction of nations, but the lives of millions across the globe. The choices made today will reverberate through generations, affecting everything from international relations to the livelihoods of individuals, to the very fabric of society. And so leadership, particularly in these challenging times, requires not only political acumen but a deep, unwavering sense of moral responsibility and the courage to face the difficult, often unpopular, decisions that are needed to secure a better world for future generations. The decisions made by those in power are never simple. Leaders must balance competing interests, navigate complex political landscapes, and make choices that will affect both their people and the global community. But behind every policy, every agreement, and every action, there is a profound moral question. Will this decision serve the greater good? Will it promote peace and justice? Or will it perpetuate division and conflict? In a world where the lines between right and wrong can sometimes appear blurred, where short-term gains often tempt the powerful, the true test of leadership lies in the ability to choose what is just, even when it is not the easiest path. True leadership is defined by vision, the ability to see beyond the immediate and consider the long-term impact of decisions. A leader must ask, what kind of world do we want to leave behind? What kind of legacy do we want to build for the generations that will follow? The choices made today will set the course for tomorrow, whether it's addressing climate change, ensuring global security, promoting human rights, or fostering economic growth. Every decision a leader makes must be rooted in a vision of a better, more peaceful future. A future where conflicts are resolved through diplomacy, where cooperation replaces confrontation, and where the needs of all people, regardless of their nationality, race, or religion, are met with dignity and respect. This vision for peace and progress is not just about avoiding war or preventing crises. It is about creating conditions that allow for prosperity, equality, and stability. Leadership, when viewed through this lens, becomes less about power for its own sake and more about using that power to uplift others. It's about finding the courage to make decisions that might be unpopular in the short term, but will lead to lasting positive change in the future. It is about taking bold steps to protect the environment, uphold human rights, and ensure that every individual has the opportunity to live a fulfilling life. In this way, the true measure of leadership is not in how many battles are won, but in how many lives are improved. However, this moral weight also brings with it an enormous challenge. Leaders must confront not only the pressures from within their own governments and political parties, but also the ever-present influence of powerful external forces, corporations, foreign governments, and global markets that may not always align with the broader interests of humanity. The temptation to prioritize short-term benefits for the sake of political survival or economic gain can be overwhelming. Yet, the true strength of a leader lies in resisting these temptations, in choosing the difficult path that aligns with the principles of justice, compassion, and respect for all people. In this sense, leadership is not just about navigating the complexities of politics, it's about maintaining a moral compass amidst the fog of power and influence. Moreover, the weight of leadership is compounded by the fact that decisions made by world leaders are never isolated. The interconnectedness of the global community means that the choices of one leader can have far-reaching consequences for others. A decision to go to war in one region can lead to instability in another. A choice to ignore human rights abuses can embolden tyrants and perpetuate suffering. A failure to address economic inequality can deepen divisions and create unrest. The responsibility of leadership, therefore, is not just to one's own people, but to the entire world. As we look to the leaders of today, we must recognize the extraordinary responsibility they bear. It's a responsibility that transcends politics, that requires them to act with a sense of justice and moral clarity, and to lead with a vision for a better world. The path ahead may not be easy, and the stakes are undeniably high, but it is through courageous, morally grounded decisions that leaders can navigate the complexities of their roles and steer the world toward a more peaceful, equitable future. The decisions made in this moment are the building blocks of tomorrow's world. And it is through those decisions, those acts of moral courage and vision, that we can begin to build a future where justice, peace, and unity are not just ideals, but the foundation upon which our shared global community stands. In the midst of the challenges we face as a global community, one question remains at the forefront of our minds. What kind of world do we want to build? It's a question that requires not just reflection but action. The world we are shaping today will be the world we leave for future generations. And the choices we make now will echo throughout time. We cannot afford to be passive observers in this process, simply accepting the world as it is. Instead, we must actively participate in the creation of a future defined by our highest ideals, values like justice, diplomacy, dialogue, and compassion. These values must guide every decision we make. For it is only through the intentional cultivation of these principles that we can hope to build a better world. Justice, at its core, is about fairness and the equal treatment of all individuals, regardless of their background, nationality, or station in life. It is about ensuring that every person's rights are respected, that no one is left behind, and that those who have been wronged are given the opportunity to heal. In today's world, where inequality and injustice continue to persist in many forms, the need for a just society has never been greater. We must ask ourselves, are we doing enough to create a world where justice is not a privilege, but a right for all? This is not a task that can be accomplished by governments alone, nor by a select few. It requires the collective will of all of us, each person, each community, and each nation. We must stand together in the pursuit of justice, not only for ourselves, but for all people, everywhere. Diplomacy and dialogue are essential components of any effort to build a better world. When conflicts arise, and they will, our first response must be to seek peaceful solutions through conversation, negotiation, and understanding. It is far too easy to resort to hostility and aggression in the face of disagreement. But this path only leads to more suffering and division. Diplomacy, on the other hand, seeks to find common ground, to understand the perspectives of others, and to forge solutions that benefit everyone involved. It is not about winning or losing, it is about finding a path forward that preserves dignity, fosters cooperation, and builds lasting relationships. In a world that is more interconnected than ever before, where the actions of one nation can impact countless others, the importance of diplomacy cannot be overstated. It is through dialogue that we can resolve conflicts, prevent violence, and build bridges that connect us, rather than walls that divide us. However, diplomacy and dialogue are only effective when they are rooted in compassion. Compassion is the recognition of our shared humanity, the understanding that we are all connected, and that the suffering of one is the suffering of all. It is easy to become cynical or indifferent to the struggles of others, especially when they seem distant or unrelated to our own lives. But compassion challenges us to see beyond ourselves, to acknowledge the pain and hardship of those around us, and to act with kindness and empathy. When we approach the world with compassion, we open ourselves to the possibility of healing and reconciliation. We begin to see the humanity in those who may seem different from us, and we recognize that the pain of others is not something to be ignored or dismissed, but something to be alleviated. In the face of adversity, compassion is what allows us to come together, to support one another, and to find strength in our shared humanity. The path to building a better world is not an easy one. It is filled with challenges and obstacles, many of which seem insurmountable. But it is through our commitment to these core values, justice, diplomacy, dialogue, and compassion, that we can begin to overcome them. Every small action we take, every decision we make, contributes to the kind of world we are creating. The choices we make today matter, for they shape the world of tomorrow. Will we choose the path of division, of selfishness and disregard for others? Or will we choose the path of unity, of understanding and of a deep commitment to justice and peace for all? As we look ahead, we must be conscious of the kind of world we want to leave behind. It is not enough to simply hope for change. We must actively work for it. This work begins with the values we choose to embody in our daily lives, and the way we engage with others, whether in our communities, our workplaces, or on the global stage. Every conversation, every decision, and every action has the potential to make a difference. And together, when we stand firm in our commitment to justice, diplomacy, dialogue, and compassion, we have the power to transform the world into a place where peace, equality, and understanding are not just ideals, but the foundation of our shared existence. The world we want to build is within our reach. It is a world where each of us plays a role in creating something greater than ourselves. A world that reflects the best of what it means to be human. In moments of deep division and global chaos, when it seems as if the forces of adversity are insurmountable, there is one thing that continues to shine through: the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to endure, to rise again after every setback, and to continue moving forward in the face of overwhelming challenges, is one of the most powerful forces we possess. While the world may feel fractured, and the paths ahead uncertain, it is in these times of difficulty that the true strength of humanity reveals itself. The human spirit, when tested, shows its capacity not only to survive, but to adapt, to transform, and to emerge stronger than before. It is in the darkest moments that we find our greatest potential for growth, unity, and positive change. Throughout history, the resilience of the human spirit has been a defining force in overcoming crises. From the civil rights movements to the fight against apartheid, from surviving wars and natural disasters to facing economic hardships, humanity has repeatedly proven its ability to persevere through unimaginable circumstances. In every instance, challenges have served not as barriers but as opportunities. Opportunities for courage to be displayed where fear once stood, for unity to flourish where resistance once took root, and for growth to take place in the midst of struggle. Every hardship, every trial, brings with it the potential for a deeper understanding of who we are and what we are capable of. It is through the toughest of times that we are often pushed to discover strengths we never knew existed within us. In the face of division, whether social, political, or ideological, the human spirit has the remarkable ability to bridge gaps, to seek connection amidst separation, and to find common ground where it once seemed impossible. History is full of examples where communities, after enduring great hardship, have come together to rebuild and to heal. It is in times of crisis that we often find a sense of shared purpose. We are reminded that, despite our differences, we are all in this together. The very challenges that threaten to tear us apart can also become the catalyst for unity, as we recognize our shared humanity and work side by side to overcome adversity. When we unite in the face of division, we become a force capable of creating positive change, one that is stronger and more resilient than the sum of its parts. The strength of the human spirit also manifests itself in our capacity for growth. Challenges force us to adapt, to rethink how we approach problems, and to stretch our limits in ways we never imagined. It is easy to be complacent when things are going well, but it is through struggle that we learn, grow, and ultimately evolve. Whether it's a personal hardship or a collective societal challenge, growth comes from pushing through the discomfort, facing the unknown, and daring to move forward even when the outcome is unclear. It is in our most difficult moments that we are called to tap into our deepest reserves of strength, creativity, and resilience. The lessons learned through these experiences shape us, often in ways we cannot fully appreciate, until we look back with the benefit of hindsight. Moreover, the resilience of the human spirit is not a solitary endeavor. It thrives in community. It is when we come together in solidarity that our collective strength becomes an unstoppable force. In times of chaos, people find ways to support one another, to lift each other up, and to share in the burden of hardship. Whether it's offering a kind word, sharing resources, or simply standing in solidarity with others, the strength of the human spirit is amplified when we work together. This unity, born from empathy and a shared understanding of our vulnerability, fosters a sense of hope that transcends the challenges we face. When we join together in pursuit of a common goal, whether that be justice, peace, or survival, we create a powerful force for good. The human spirit's resilience also extends to our ability to create positive change, even in the face of overwhelming odds. History is full of individuals and communities who, despite being oppressed, marginalized, or disregarded, have risen up to challenge the status quo and transform the world around them. They did not allow their circumstances to define them. Instead, they chose to create new possibilities, to fight for a future where justice and equality could flourish. This ability to turn adversity into opportunity, to use hardship as a stepping stone for progress, is one of the most profound expressions of the human spirit's strength. In every challenge we face, whether it's a personal struggle, a societal issue, or a global crisis, there is an inherent opportunity to grow stronger, to unite and to effect positive change. The resilience of the human spirit is not just a reaction to adversity. It is the driving force that propels us forward even when the road is long and the outcome uncertain. It reminds us that we are capable of more than we often give ourselves credit for. No matter how difficult the journey, no matter how great the divide, the human